On this Winchester's Whitetail Revolution, it's all about heritage, tradition, family, and really big Kansas bucks.
Man, that's a buck. My gosh, there's 3 of them there that are just wide and high and heavy.
We'll cut some cedars, eh? The old cedar blind. You got your mini deer.
Get ready, Ned. I think that's the shooter. Duck, duck, duck. There's a buck.
Yeah, you better take him because these does are getting awfully close over here.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. Redfield, the soul of the American hunter. And by Browning, the best there is.
I came to know this property through a friend who was working on the ranch and told me all about its glories, how beautiful it was, and I just really didn't quite believe in it being Kansas and all.
Well, I've grown up here and lived here for a long time, so it's coming home, but besides that, I love deer hunting.
Oh my God! Shoot him! That's gotta be a bull. Look how high it is. I think we should shoot him.
He knew what I was up to. I wanted him to take a good deer so I could keep hunting and look for an even better one.
We just keep hunting.
Take this deer.
Is that a shooter, Ron? How far is he?
150. Pull the dead on him and shoot him.
Doug is hesitating. Are you sure it's big enough? You sure it's the big one?
Oh, God, yes. Good shot.
Yeah, he's dead. Oh, that was sweet. Oh my gosh, that was the most.
That is a huge old mature buck. Past his ears, he's a long. Woo. I think he's the best one we've seen.
See, I just told you I couldn't shoot till you get the little one.
You gave me a run for my money there, buddy.
See, Winchester's just come out with this new Power Max bonded bullet I want to try. I've also got a new Redfield scope I just put on, so I haven't even sighted this thing in yet. I just bore sighted it, so we're going to start from scratch. Everybody got your ears on?
The bonded Winchester Power Max fuses a contoured alloy jacket and lead core, combining them with a protected hollow point. Result: deep controlled expansion and drop-dead accuracy.
Right in there.
It ain't bragging if it's true, so we'll just come out and say it. The Winchester 70 is the top hunting rifle of all time. The editors of the American Hunter think so, and so have generations of hunters who've carried this tack driver and trophy taker since 1936. Made with pride in the USA, the new Model 70 is still the smoothest, most accurate, hardest-hitting bolt action in any woods, anywhere. Top it with a no-nonsense Redfield Revolution scope, and you're right on target with the perfect whitetail gun. No wonder they call it the Rifleman's Rifle. The Winchester 70 truly is an American legend.
Look like we're going to get a right where we wanted it on that one.
Well, we're hunting South Kansas, and the potential here is really high to get a good buck because, you know, the wind is blowing, and the wind is blowing. It's blowing, and it's blowing. 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 It's bl very little hunting pressure here compared to a lot of places. Bucks live to be old, and so we can get some really nice, old, unique bucks here that are hard to find other places. A combination of different kinds of habitat that the deer can move to and from depending on the weather conditions and things. So we get a chance at some trophy deer that other people don't get.
So here you see this scrape. Look at the size of that guy. 1, 2, that's 9 feet across. Tracks are just pounded in there. I'm thinking, put the camera right here. I think it'll be about right. I mean, it'll be a tight shot.
There's a trail going right on through both ways, and that one going that way.
I might put it on this tree, give me a little more distance. Aim it right at that. That should work. Now, your uncle's not gonna come out here and steal this, is he? Stand over there and smile for me. Okay. Gee, I'm gonna be more excited about checking our pictures than actually getting a deer. Okay?
Good
Satisfied?
Yep.
If that doesn't work, I'm a monkey's uncle. Don't tell that to my nephew, though. Need to rub over here. Doug, I think we need to be sitting on a hillside over there. It's about 200, 250 yards away. If he comes down this fence line, and there's good tracks going down, deep cut. And before he goes over, we should see him from over there looking this way.
Right.
If he comes up that draw out of the canyons over here, he'll be right on top of us, or right underneath us.
Yep.
We'll cut some cedars, eh? The old cedar blind.
You know, you don't really need blinds in this country. The deer don't seem to pay that much attention to motion if it's 400 yards away or so. But if you're getting in a little bit tighter than that, it's usually a good idea to get a little bit of cover. We didn't want to be caught by a doe while we were moving around and looking at new areas, so we cut some cedar branches and stuck them.
My leg off. Ah, that was my leg. So tonight, if they come up, or even if they're further over in that dip or anywhere in there, we'll see them coming, they won't see us.
There's a duck, there's a buck. That's a big buck, isn't it?
For Ohio hunter Chad Moore, a matter of feet seemed to take a lifetime to cover. On the way to this week's Buck of a Lifetime.
You know, not many of us could pull off what Chad Moore did one day in Ohio last season. Chad was climbing into his tree stand. Not 3 feet up, he looked down, and right there, a huge bedded buck 20 yards away. He decided to keep climbing up. That's all he could do, at a snail's pace. Finally, he reached the platform 15 minutes later. He slowly roped up his bow. Amazingly, that buck never saw or heard him. Now, what would you do? Should Chad take a shot at the bedded buck or wait until he stood up? Tough call. Chad played it over and over in his head. He had a good clear shot at the deer's vitals, and so he took it. The arrow smacked home perfectly, and the 161-inch buck fell at the base of his tree. The big lesson here, when you're hunting mature bucks, follow your gut and always make slow, calculated moves. Take the first good, clear shot you have at a big deer, just like Chad did that day. That's awesome hunting, man. Congratulations on your buck of a lifetime. Wow, what a deer.
Learn more about Mike Hanbeck's Bucks of a Lifetime at versus.com. It's southern Kansas, and Winchester's Whitetail Revolution host, hunter, and author Ron Spomer and Kansas friend Doug Sherrick are in familiar territory on the ranch they've hunted together for years. And everywhere they look, there seems to be another great whitetail.
Man, that's a buck. Gosh, there's 3 of them there that are just wide and high and heavy.
You got too many deer.
There's a duck, there's a buck. It's gotta be him. That's a big buck, isn't it?
Yep.
I want to go over here and scout this out and look for a spot, because he's working the does who are working that field. Even though I like to hunt the open country glass and stalk and or still hunt the brush thickets and stuff, it still pays to check the bedding cover and the dense forest areas. We did that down on the little stream down here. Found a real thicket that was full of scrapes. I'm telling you, I haven't seen scrape activity like that in a lot of years. Gosh, that area looked good.
He was really upset with that one.
Few deer tracks here.
Yeah, I should say.
This is a major deal here.
Let's see how far in here they work, what it looks like. There's that, all those rubs are down there in that sumac thicket, and that's where all those scrapes were down there. And then deer pop out of that river, shoot, they're 200 yards away, 150. They're in range from the start. This could work. It's where they always go in, it's where they gotta come out.
That's a big deer. Is that a shooter for sure, you think?
Oh, it's a hell of a 4x4. Beautiful 4x4. I'd say you're looking at least 18 inches inside spread. Your main beams are just outstanding. He'll be the biggest 4x4 you ever shot.
I don't really want to shoot into that sumac.
Ron, are you ready anytime? Okay, anytime you got a clear shot, Doug, I'd take it. He might just decide to see through those branches to his chest, Doug.
I'd really like him to get out of the brush. There he comes.
You better take him.
I'm not letting him come if he's coming.
Good job, good job, good job.
All right.
He's dead and he just doesn't know it. There he goes, he's dead. Good job.
All right, thank you.
Man, you got a lot of patience. I was just getting nervous. You shoot him before he goes back in the trees.
In that sumac, I didn't want to shoot into that, really.
No.
I didn't have to.
No, he wasn't spooked, but I just thought he might just walk back into the trees and out of your life. Yeah?
Yeah.
Get your knife?
I got a knife.
That's all we need. I've only got 2. And I think yours is sharp. Should be right over that grass, Doug. Because there's the plum thicket. It's got to be just in this hole right
There
here.
he is. Right
Where?
there.
Oh yeah, right there. Oh, look at the main beam length on that guy. Oh, damn.
That's a big old deer.
That's a beautiful 4-pointer.
Nice main beams, about
Those are long
4
main
inches
beams.
tip.
They go back and then they go out and then they come back in again.
old.
Yeah, he's really worn down. I'm surprised.
He's in good condition, but
Yeah, his molars are looking pretty grim. Yeah.
it's starting to be known as a good deer hunting area, but still, when you're walking out across here, anywhere on this place, there can be deer anytime.
When it comes to records book deer, there's almost no place like Kansas, especially in the annals of the Boone and Crockett Records Book. Kansas ranks in the top 10 of all states and Canadian provinces for the number of typical B and C whitetail, and in the top 5 for non-typicals. And with non-resident tags getting easier to pull, Kansas isn't over the rainbow. It might be the gold at the end of it for serious deer hunters. And it could go platinum, especially when you add in all its great mule deer bucks.
Well, let me see that virgin knife of yours go to work.
Now it's going to be about family and deer in Kansas on Winchester's Whitetail Revolution.
They should also know that my deer always beat Doug's deer.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. Redfield, the soul of the American hunter. And by Browning, the best there is.
The deer I got this time was placed down along the river.
But we know from past experience that the deer like to come out of that bedding area, the nearest to the feed fields.
The deer came out right on the trail, right by the scrapes and rubs. We had to wait for quite a while for the buck to get out of the sumac.
You better take him.
Then the does came out and he moved toward the does.
So when the buck stopped, I went ahead and took him a little sooner than I would have had to. A well-placed shot.
Man, you got a lot of patience. I was just getting nervous.
Nice main beams, about 4 inches tip.
They go back and then they go out and then they come back in again. Woohoo!
Hunting this southern Kansas ranch is part of a third and now fourth generation family tradition for hunter Doug Sherrick. His grandparents began managing the ranch in the 1930s, and for Doug, it's always been his happy hunting grounds, especially after his parents and he moved there in 1976. It was while he hunted quail back then that Sherrick spotted a mysterious blue pickup truck. This was Ron Spomer hunting deer, and as Sherrick's interest shifted from quail to deer, he got to know Ron better and began hunting with him. Like his hunter father, Sherrick started teaching hunter education, which is how he met Ned Godsey and Ned's mom, Barb. Marrying Barb, Sherrick now had a son to pass along his hunting heritage to. For Sherrick, this piece of Kansas is a piece of paradise, and a place he doesn't need ruby slippers to get back to. Everybody, from the Plains Indians to the U.S. Cavalry, the likes of Bill Hickok and Wyatt Earp, settlers, farmers, and ranchers, all have been astounded by the game of Kansas. From record book whitetails and world-class mule deer to speeding pronghorn antelope and free-ranging bison, the Shawnee of Kansas gave the name Wapiti to the elk, and the great pale rump deer can be found there today. Kansas is a turkey mecca too, with excellent populations of easterns and Rio Grandes and hybrids of the two. For pure wing shooting, there are blue Kansas skies filled with ducks and geese, and fields of pheasant, prairie chickens, and northern bobwhite quail. Kansas has the game to draw hunters back to the state every fall for a homecoming.
Seems like it always works this way with Ned. He's a college student, so he goes to school.
I'm studying to be a high school teacher in school, hopefully.
We come out, we hunt Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have the place all scoped out.
It's a lot of fun just being able to come down here and really getting to utilize the land that you have.
Doug and Ron take credit for Ned's hunting education, but they forgot the lessons about the ant and the grasshopper, and the early bird and the worm. Not that anybody's counting.
He gets to shoot his deer before I shoot my deer, so I kind of get to look over what he's already shot and then decide, well, you know, I can hold off till next week if I want to and come back next weekend. Or
Ned shows up. We take him out to the place where we know there's deer, and in the first few hours he gets a nice big trophy deer every time. It seems to work that way.
From the time I started shooting bucks, my deer won every time.
When Ned got a nice 10-point buck, the oldest buck of the bunch then, a really, really old, neat buck.
My deer always beat Doug's deer.
We'd been watching this field. We knew there was a lot of deer there, so we'd been watching it for the last few days.
First one, not those two. Now he was going this way. And I could see antlers and some shine, and they looked fairly substantial. And if we stopped behind it and got in that plum thicket behind it, maybe, we'll find him again. He's got a lot of territory to cover. We gotta figure out how to drop in there to get to him. I saw a doe and some more stuff behind. Oh, there comes a buck. That's a nice buck. Get ready, Ned. I think that's the shooter. Take him. Oh, wow, did he jump? Woohoo! You got him. Good job, man. Good job. All right, good shot. Down. There I'll go. 1, 2, 3, 4 does. There's a little buck. He's down. Well, let's go see what you got in there, Ned. That looks like a heck of a deer. Why don't you go around the bottom side of that plum thicket, Ned, in case he's further out there. And I'll go on the upside. We'll kind of fan out when we get there if we can't see him. We'll find him.
Ron's advice helps a lot. I mean, I soak up as much information as I can from him.
Ned, this is a good reason for you never to shoot in too big of a hurry. If you think you hit one, you know, and then another one pops up. Yeah. A lot of guys will shoot again and end up killing 2 deer. You gotta keep your head about you. There he goes.
He is missing 2 teeth
on the bottom. The sizes are missing and the other ones don't have far to go. Oh my gosh, you put him out of his misery. Look at all these bumps down here, all that purling. Got a little hook going right there. Those are massive bases there.
That deer that Ned took today, oh man, that thing was old. He was missing his teeth. The incisors were just down to the gum line. That was an old deer.
We knew where the deer were going to be on the field. This time it was actually an 11-point buck. It was kind of neat to get the kids involved.
There's some competition, but we all three, I think, are all just trying to outdo each other.
It's always a great time hunting Kansas.
Let's you jump that fence. See who's on candid camera, shall we?
Hey, Yali, he's really a nice buck.
If you weren't going to shoot it, I was going to shoot it. But since you found it first...
He's a naughty buck because he's never on the right side at the right time. Get Ned packed up off back to his girl studies.
How can you pack my red field?
No guts, no glory.
Yeah! Did a little slide in there, didn't you?
All whitetail, all the time.
Take him out. Take him.
On Versus.com and Versus On Demand.